Miss Cat, it is I. I am here to do your reading, finally. I'm sorry it's taken me so long. It's been a while. I am still sick. I still have a sinus infection. I don't know if I sound any better than I did in my last video, but I feel a little better, so that's good. But I wanted to get your readings out to you because I don't want you to feel gypped. I know you paid for your readings, and I don't want you to feel like, oh, well, she hasn't given me my reading yet, and what is she doing? Literally, I've been sick. So yeah, I did 2 readings, which I summarized in the email to you, but I wanted to kind of go over them and read the definition and the whole reading to you so you could get more of an idea of what's going on there. The first reading I did, well, before I get into the readings, I also want to do a third reading at the very end to kind of touch base on stuff that it might have missed. So yeah, the first reading that I did is going to be a personality trait reading, and this could be his personality, how he feels, his life choices, just his personality, his whole being comes into perspective. And not only that, it's going to kind of touch base on key points in your relationship, how he feels about your relationship, and it could touch base on how you come into the picture and what your relationship will be like and that sort of thing. So that's the first the first reading I did. And then the second reading, let's see, was the mini 3-card twin flame. So I think I did 4 cards on that one for clarification of that. So yeah, I'm going to read this reading now, and then at the very end you're going to see a little glitch, and I'm going to come right back. That's me shuffling my cards and redoing you another reading. So yeah, the first card is going to represent as a whole his personality, his, it says hero, and this is like one of the first times that I've done this reading before, but it's one of the first readings that I've done this spread towards a relationship. So usually I do it to see people's temperament and that sort of thing, but this is the first time I projected it towards a relationship. So usually the hero is like his dominant overall, like what he's about, but this touches bases on your whole relationship and that sort of thing, what's it all about and that sort of thing. So the first card that I pulled for you is the Star card. I don't know if you could actually see that, but she's a naked lady. So the Star card, this so again, it could be his personality, it's just generalizing the whole reading basically. Very creative, so his personality is very creative. New ideas, so your relationship is fairly new. This relationship is inspiring. It's unexpected. There's a sound foundation. Change, natural. It feels natural. It doesn't feel like it's pressured. I know you talked about how, excuse me, how you're more of a dominant, you show more dominant features in the relationship, like you're always coming up with the things to do, he's kind of reserved and that sort of thing. So yeah, that comes up, but it doesn't feel forced. Like, I don't know how to make sense of this. Let me know if that makes sense, but it doesn't feel like it's forced. Feels really natural. So it talks about having a bright future in store, could face disappointment due to your own stubbornness, could be unfulfilling, blah, 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 blah. Also, life after darkness. So the unfulfilling part, I wanted to relate that to your insecurities about it. Like, I know I said it feels natural, that it doesn't feel forced, and this is going to sound like I'm contradicting myself, but at the same time, there is that part of the relationship where you are always having to be the dominant figure in the relationship, and that's where it feels like could could be unfulfilling, that you feel like, well, is this really where I want to be, kind of thing. So that's coming up. Also, life after darkness, hope and promise, refreshing change. Refreshing change, it feels like this person is a lot different than what you're used to being with. That your last relationship, it wasn't at all like this, and this is a refreshing change. It's a step away from the familiar, basically. Rebirth after something bad, guidance, inspiration. Dreams can come true, sense of purpose, goals to reach for ambition. This card brings hope that things might work out right. Without hope or belief, it's hard to keep going. Positive outlook, necessary source of optimism. Just make expectations/boundaries clear. So that's the first card. It's a generalization of the whole reading. Excuse me. So the next card is going to represent the dominant outward quality. I got this. This is the Three of Pentacles. Hardworking craftsman, admired, sets good example, could do better, could also be sloppy at times. But that is, I don't want to say lack of effort, but maybe there is a lack of effort on his part because of how you said that you feel like you're more dominant. So that could be the sloppy part it's talking about. So lack of effort. There's contemplation, sense of pride, energy is still high with enthusiasm. Realistic, doesn't overinflate achievements. The next card will be the inward traits, or qualities. So the first one is the dominant outward, what he shows on the outside, and then this is what he has hidden feelings that he may or may not show to other people. It could also be subconscious feelings that he hasn't even realized yet. So the card that I pulled for you is, what is this? The Page of Cups. So the cups are always associated with feelings. Water is feelings, emotions, passion. Easily influenced or distracted. Page is sensitive, thoughtful, helpful, loyal, new relationship feelings. So the cup and water again are emotions and feelings. Very introvert, self-reflective, need to build a firm foundation, need nurturing to grow healthy. So all these fears that you've been concerned about the relationship, about where it's going and that sort of thing, this card tells me that he is loyal and what else did it say? Thoughtful, sensitive. It talks about him being very introvert, and that was a concern for you. So yeah, it's touching base on a couple of things. The next card is going to represent the goal, and the Hierophant is is the card that I pulled for you. So this card is hard to explain because usually this one is related to spiritualism, some like a priest or that sort of thing. But a lot of times in my readings when I get the Hierophant, it could just mean somebody that's either is going to search for information, or that person is the person that supplies the information. Like if you're having health issues, you go to the doctor. So in that role, you could either be the person that needs to go to the doctor, or you could be the doctor that's actually helping. So that's the role that the Hierophant, to me, represents. And his goal, reading my notes, it says he wants to learn, gain knowledge. So it talks about how I had put a question here. How experienced is he, or how long have you been together? Brings up opposites. He's the balance, balances you out, usually searches for the meaning in something, either life or relationship or or spiritual. Again, wants to be the person that can be depended on. This is a really good card. So you had fears about him and his position in the relationship, and that card kind of touches base on that yeah, that he wants to be the person in your life to be dependent on, that he wants to be there to help and support, and he's thoughtful, and the other card said that he's loyal. So there's a lot of good positive vibes coming from this reading. The next card is the motivation. So the Six of Swords, moving away from something negative towards something more positive. Life after dark. Hope, release of tension. And I don't know if in his past he's had bad relationships either with his family, his parents, his dad, mom, or if it's actually a bad relationship, like a romantic relationship. I don't know his side of the relationship, but what is his history? And that's what it's talking about, that he either, so it indicates that he could have had past issues, but it could also mean that he wants to help you recover from past issues. Does that make sense? Like he knows about your past and where you're coming from with your ex-husband and that sort of thing. So that could be his position. That's his motivation to kind of either help himself, life after dark, to kind of move away from a negative situation, or help you in recovering from your past. Could indicate him wanting to just be supportive of you in your past. This card represents leaving or moving away from a stressful situation for the better. Peaceful phase in life. So the next card is the stakes at hand. Like what obviously the stakes, but what could you lose, basically? So the stakes that I got for you is the Devil card. This is a very lustful, I don't know if you can see, but they are chained up, and it's very passionate. Usually the Devil depicted is evil and that sort of thing, but before he was evil, before all of that negative happened, he was, let's see if I could read it. So it talks about the God of abundance. Hold on, Jude is distracting me. I'm gonna pause this. Okay, so I got my little tarot book because I wanted to kind of go more in depth of more so than what I wrote down in my notes. Before, the Devil was depicted as a demon, evil, Satan, that stigma about him. He was something else. So I'm just going to read this little chapter in my book. It says, inhibitions, blocks, and fears, if released, provide energy and vitality. So, okay. So this connects with the Greek god Pan, or Pan, I forget how you say his name, who was the god of untamed nature and sexuality. He was lustful, sensual, but not malicious and evil. So before he was evil and that sort of thing, he was something else. He was lust and passion and untamed nature, basically. So, with that being said, what's at stake, obviously, is your sex life. I don't know where you guys are at in your relationship with that, but obviously your sex life is at stake. Emotional and physical bondages, blockages. It talks about the God of abundance, necessary to accept all aspects of nature. There's lust, relationships, preventing future growth. Once blockages and fears can be removed, this will get the energy flowing again. Talk openly about wishes, goals, desires. See if you're on the same page. So obviously your relationship is at stake, so that's where he's at. So the next card is the flaw or need, and I got the Wheel of Fortune for you. adjustment in circumstances, new chapter, start over, element of chance, celebration. Important decisions need to be made. The difference between fate and free will, taking responsibility for life path. So, flaw or need. Sometimes cards don't really make sense or click, and it feels like this one, it might be one of them. I know it touched base on how the relationship is different. I don't know if it's different for you or different for him or different for both of you, but it talks about adjustment in circumstances, and usually with the Wheel of Fortune, it has to do with money and that sort of thing, but it could, since it is a relationship reading, it could mean like up and down relationships. Yeah, I want to be with him. No, I don't want to be with him. Yeah, like that roller coaster kind of thing. So it's hard because this card tells me it's like either you're thinking with your head or your heart, and it's an element of chance. You don't know which way to go, and I don't know if this is your feelings that I'm getting tied into this card or if it's his. So I don't know. I might come back to that card. So the next one is the Source, and the card that I pulled for you is the Two of Cups. Friendships, loving relationships, both platonic and romantic, commitment to feelings from both parties, opposites, combine and form a happy balance, harmony, masculine, feminine, balance, equality. So this is a really, really good card. So not knowing his history in his relationship or his past relationships, either his family or with his romantical relationships. Was his past relationships rocky, or was it your past relationship that was rocky? And you know what, that's what I think it is. I think because the Devil card came into play. Let me see. So the Devil card is blockages. Like when you have a blockage with either you're emotionally blocked, spiritually blocked, physically blocked, it creates this bubble around you that you're still stuck. Instead of being stuck in your head and that sort of thing, those blockages need to be released, basically, to create that flow again and to be able to invite more energy in, more relationships. So with that being said, it feels like either you or him is holding on to something from the past, and you might not be doing it consciously. It could be subconsciously, where it's like you're not comparing relationships, but comparing how it was. Like you had, or could be comparing your standards or your expectations. You're setting these boundaries in the relationship, and you're kind of trying to make sense of it all. And so if you're holding on to this, then sorry, I'm trying to listen to Spirit and see where they're guiding me. So adjustment in circumstances, new chapter, start over. Okay, so I don't know if it was hard for you or him to start over. There's decisions that need to be made. Opposites. So the source of the flaw. So this, I want to say, is this, the Two of Cups is the expectations or what you're wanting in the relationship, or he might want in the relationship. It talks about friendships, friendship, loving relationships, both platonic and romantic, commitment to feelings from both parties. This is a really positive card. Let's move on and see if I get anything else, because it's kind of like floating around in my brain. The next card is the Six of Pentacles. That will represent the effect. Sharing, good fortune, generosity, charity, fair. One person may lack something, but the other balances it out. Sharing, helping each other. That's a really good card. You know what? I've had good and bad readings in the past, and this one, it seems nothing but positive. Like, one card after another is talking about, yeah, you might be opposites, but at the same time, it's like, it works. If I had gotten the Temperance card, that would have been perfect, but I didn't. But this is his personality trait and how he's feeling about the relationship and that sort of thing. So I want to say that he is all for it and he is ready for this, and even though he might not voice it vocally, internally, he's internalizing all of this, and he's taking in consideration your relationship in the past and where he personally wants to be, and it feels like it's a good thing. So the clarification card is amazing. So this is the Emperor, strong masculine energy, able to take care of needs. He is a great protector. So if you had concerns about him not wanting to stick around or kind of iffy about his relationships, that he's kind of passive, like, I don't know, kind of thing, he's the protector. He wants to be there for you. He wants to help you through whatever you're going through, whether it's friendship, just platonic, or if it's a relationship. He wants to be that guy to kind of support you and help you. Excuse me. Okay, so the next reading, that was the clarification card. So this is going to be the next reading, and this is the twin flame relationship. It's a mini card reading. It's only 3 cards plus a clarification card at the end. The first card that I got for you will represent what is known in the relationship, Ace of Swords. So it's a radical change, different from what you're used to. Height of attainment, connecting with intellect, adversity, good and bad. Okay, so the sword is obviously double-edged. Each side, there's a good and a bad. There's things you really like about the relationship and some you're not too sure about. Outlook isn't immediately favorable, isn't what you really were like looking for, but there's a pleasant surprise. So the next card is going to be hidden parts of the relationship. Got the Wheel of Fortune again. Surprise, surprise. So adjustments, new chapters, changes in fortune, rise and fall, chances, fate and free will, uncertainty, unsure of whether or not you'll be together in the future. True self is hidden. Take responsibility for your own life path. So you're having all these fears and doubts about the relationship, but where are these fears and doubts coming from? You need to ask yourself, where are all these fears and doubts coming from? What do you want in a relationship? What do you want in life? Where do you see yourself in 5, 10, 20 years? Do you see yourself with this person? But that's all that's coming up in this card, is like, every single relationship is not perfect. There is no perfect relationship. Sorry to interrupt it. I know it was just a glitch in the video. It took no time at all, but so yeah. Where was I? He distracted me. So no relationship is perfect, right? There's always going to be ups and downs, and either this is a hint that that's how the relationship is going to pan out, or it could just be your inner feelings, the natural course of things, that sort of thing. So it says take responsibility for your own life path. And in the other reading, it talked about talking openly, removing these blockages that you're having. So removing those blockages, like, you guys need to sit down and actually talk and tell each other how you feel, honestly, if you want it to work out. That's the only way you're going to have a firm foundation, a healthy foundation, is to get it out in the open, put it out all on the table, and talk about it. So, taking responsibility of your life path. The next card, it talks about advice or your connection together. And I was talking about this card. Wasn't I just talking about this card? Temperance. I said, if I had gotten Temperance, it would have been perfect, but I didn't get it. Well, hello, Temperance. Temperance came up. Okay, so moderation, successful blend, union of opposites, successful partnership, cooperation, compromise. Compromise lies at the heart of all successful partnerships. Both work together, keeping each other's best interests at heart for the good of the whole, not just the individual. Relationships, my writing is all jacked up. Okay, relationships are positively enhanced by sharing feelings. Hey, like, that was the perfect card. I couldn't have asked for a better card. So I was just saying that, like, you need to voice your concerns and talk to each other. And even though in the beginning it might not feel like a favorable relationship or a favorable situation that you're not used to, it's gonna have a happy surprise. Like, you're gonna be surprised how well you guys actually work together. So the final card on this reading, I'm going to do one more reading after this, so you're going to see a glitch in the video. Okay, so the card that I pulled for you is going to be the clarification card, and this is the Lovers. Trials, options, dilemma of separation, choices between following your heart and mind. I talked about that earlier. Consequences, lots to consider. Should you stay and see if it will work out, or will you find someone new? Considering options, heavily decided on desire, not what's good for us. So, usually in the Lovers card, usually there's a male and a female, and there's two females. There's two females on each side, and then there's a male in the center, and he's kind of caught between them, and that's trying to make a decision on what either you should do or what he should do, and that sort of thing. But in this card, even though it's the same card, it has multiple meanings. There is a Cupid. There's a Cupid, and sometimes he is blindfolded, but in this one, Cupid is actually closing his eyes. And so what that to me represents, that love is blind, that you might not always see the flaws, rose-colored glasses kind of thing. So hold on, let me pause this to distract. Okay, so sometimes in a relationship we put on these rose-colored glasses and you don't actually see what is happening in front of you. And that's a tendency with the Lovers, that sometimes that you're so caught up in your inner emotions and that sort of thing that you actually don't see what's actually happening. And it sounds like you guys, your relationship isn't heading to that situation, but given that you aren't so sure about his feelings and that sort of thing, that you feel like he's, I don't know, not opening up enough, he's indecisive, passive, maybe shy or whatever. So yeah, I think this is the perfect generalized clarification card that I could have pulled. I think it was awesome. Jude is making a ton of noise. I'm gonna beat him. But yeah, I am going to shuffle my cards up and do one last reading. I hope this has kind of touched base on some of your concerns. If it hasn't, let me know and I'll try to work out something else. You know what? I was going to do a third reading, and I will do a third reading, but I want to see how you feel about this reading first so I could kind of get my boundaries on this next reading. So if you can, shoot me a message after you read this and let me know how it went, how you feel like, if it clarified on any of your concerns. I'm still going to do the third reading, but I want to kind of get your ideas before I continue. So yeah, hit me up. Bye!